Pay attention to the music, guys. Enjoy the video and welcome to my world. My name is Chico Lopez and I'm gonna take a sip of this really great coffee, Brazilian coffee, on a beautiful cup with the greatest dog in the world, Global Grand Champion Chilindrina. Don't ever let anybody tell you differently. You better know.
Chilindrina or Ciega?
Ciega the great. I got so many great dogs. Chilindrina, Ciega is just crazy. But you are number one. You're number one. What the heck? Let me tell you something, amigos. Thank you very much for coming to the channel. I want to welcome you to the channel. If you're a new subscriber, go ahead, subscribe to the page. If you come in here and you haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Isn't this the best channel anywhere in the world? You're enjoying me, that's why you keep coming back. Welcome to the channel. Today we're going to talk about a very interesting topic. As a matter of fact, I have a list over here. There's a lot of things that I'm going to talk to you guys about. Today is going to be something interesting, and it's called How I Created My Bloodline. Of course, it's going to be a little longer video. We're going to have a lot of great information. We're going to go through it. If you hear dogs barking, don't you worry about it, all right? I have puppies, I have dogs, and I open the door so I can hear them. All right, so everything started at some point, and I'm going to give you some very, very good tips about how I created my bloodline. The reason I'm going to tell you this is not on an effort to tell you and give you a guide or a map on how do you create yours. I have a lot of American dogs that call me, right? And these dogs from America, they call this number, 281-226-0370. The American dogs call me and say, "Hey, what's up, man? What kind of bloodline you're running? You're running those Mayday dogs." This is usually a dog fighter, and this is the terminology used by dog fighters. What kind of bloodline you're running? Fact is, the real dogmen don't run bloodlines. They didn't. And when I talk about terms of dogmen, in my case, in 2010, I created a t-shirt that went sold out crazy. The t-shirt said like this. It says, right here in the front, it says, "I'm not a dogman, I am Chico Lopez." The reason I did that is because too many fools call themselves dogmen, and they have no idea. They are very far from being a dogman. So there's gonna be a lot of mistakes out there, and this video I make it so you guys can have an idea of the blessing that is to be on this channel, the blessing that is to be here, and to understand the difficulties that create to be this. First of all, let me tell you this. You will not be able to create a bloodline, not even half or a third or quarter or 10% as good as mine, because the ecosystem, the great quality is not there anymore. What you have today out there are chumps and literally just garbage people in what it used to call the game back in the 90s and 2000s, and now it's called the swamp. Nothing but criminals, lowlifes, doggers, sellers, scumbags, and breeders. So going forward with this, let me tell you a little bit about how I created this great bloodline that people call Chico Lopez dogs, Ciega dogs, Bachman dogs, the golden vein, right? Thank you very much, my friend. I appreciate you helping me with this. So now let me tell you, I'm going to tell you a little story about the first part, that is, because there's going to be 5 different parts, or 5 different key elements to create this bloodline. The first one is where everybody fails. That's the first one. The very start, everybody fails. And you realize that that's the reason why I ask always for, I need to know who you are. I need to know if you have integrity. I need to know what kind of man or kind of person you are. Because who you are, what's your core, is very important to the equation. Okay? We're living in a world that is very important to know. There are a lot of common people and there are a lot of special people. And I want to work obviously with the special people. When I selected the dogs that I was going to work with, I had one motto. And the motto was only the best. And this motto applies to people. Not all people are the same. Don't even kid yourself. You cannot compare a thug from the hood, from the ghetto, a criminal, a lowlife, an ex-con compared to Michael Jordan. You cannot. Understand they might have, some similarities. They might look the same or even wear the same clothing, but they're not the same type of person. Michael Jordan is an idol, is the GOAT in basketball. You cannot compare a thug that beats people out in the street with Muhammad Ali, which is the GOAT of boxing. You cannot compare a thug outside that is maybe a bank robber or rapist with a man like, let's say, Steve Jobs. Okay? So not everybody is the same. Not everybody is equal. This fake sense of equality is completely fake. So let's start with that, right? Not all dogs are equal. Not all humans are equal. It requires a very special person to do this. Let me tell you a little bit about me, because the most important part on a dog is going to be the breeder and the person behind it that created the dog. That's why we're going to start with me. All right? Those dogs you see in the back, I created them. I'm not the type of guy that have to put the picture of a dog that you didn't even meet. You know, there was a stupid guy that used to have a forum, I don't know if you still have it, and he'll ask, give me the name of the 3 best dogs you ever heard. And some guys will come and said, you know, Kobe's picture, or Kobe's this and that and that. And then he'll say, oh, those 3 are great, the best ones. And then somebody else, they'll have a list of about 1,000 people, all dummies, all idiots. They'll give names and they'll think, yeah, I think this dog is better, and blah, blah, blah. Most of those guys didn't even meet a single of those dogs. Have no idea what they're talking about, just wasting time. And it's the forums there and the internet, you know, it's something that became addicted to these people. They are sick on the head, you know. But anyhow, smart people stay away from those things, right? So, I'm going to give you 5 different things. Let me just tell you this. 3 of them are very basics. 3 of them is the first thing that I discovered, and it took me, I worked from the gut. It took me time to put them together in words that I can talk to you. And later on, I discovered the other 2, and possibly I'm going to come with a number 6 that the back of my head is still working on that, right? When I was a child, you know, in 1st grade, I didn't have shoes to go to school. I was number 1 in class. The teachers loved me. One teacher loved me. So we only have one teacher in 1st grade. And she said, why Chico is not coming to class? Came over to the house, and you know, kids were laughing about me. I did have holes in the bottom of my shoes, and she ended up buying me shoes so I can go to school. And I'm very grateful to this lady. Every time I went back home, I visited her and make sure that she understood she was a very important person in my life. She was someone that lifted me and gave me a hand. And so, when I was in 3rd grade, my parents used to go to sleep, and there was a light that when I was working, just the light. Sometimes when they save electricity, they'll say shut off the light, and we put a candle. You know, they have these books from school. I finish my homework, and I'll have this extra book that I required from my father, so I can do two notebooks that I can write everything my own way, and then another book that I can do drawings of the other books all on my own. I learned how to draw very well. I learned how to write very well. And I was doing this all on my own. I was working the extra mile without knowing it. I was having endurance and putting my time without knowing it. Obviously, in some schools in America, they'll put the kids in some special school or something, right? But by the time I was in 4th grade, I was the president of my school. By the time I was in the 3rd grade and 4th grade, I was already making sales. I was making my own money. That's going to be part of my book. When I was 12 years old, I became a Boy Scout. I became the best Boy Scout of my neighborhood, best Boy Scout of the city, best Boy Scout of my country, best Boy Scout of the continent. And then when I went to Australia for the World Jamboree, I won the prize of the best 6 basic knots made in the World Jamboree. I practiced like crazy without knowing that that competition was going to happen. But I used to be practicing everywhere I went. I had a shrink and I practiced, and I was just crazy about it. When I went to the competition, they said, "You're going to do this?" I was like, didn't know, when they start, or 1, 2, 3, or 4, whatever. And then I started doing it. I broke the record right away in the first try. It was impressive. I knew right there on I was special. It was a very international competition. We had we had the New Year right by the harbor in Sydney, Australia, and I was a kid that didn't have any money. At the age of 16, I was in New York, and I was homeless in the 7th train. By the time I was 20, I was making over $5,000 a week, and I was living a great life. This is how the world is, folks. People find a way, and they go forward, and they become strong. when I met the American Pitbull Terrier, I wanted to create something special. I wanted the best dog. When I found out that there was a competition to create the best dog, and there was a process to discover which dog was better, I became automatically taken by the process. I discovered these dogs had a heritage. I discovered these dogs had a purpose. I discovered these dogs were not created equal. There was a way to make them better. And I saw that people involved in it. I realized that the people that were locally in New York City were good guys, some of them, and some of them were scumbags. Then I found out that through the United States, through history, there were some really famous dogmen, and I wanted to get the best dogs from them. Obviously, I made mistakes, many mistakes. I can write a book that think of my mistakes, but I only had purchased 2 black dogs, because in the list of the Ram dogs, there were not really black dogs. There were no black dogs. Jeep, Honey Bunch, Buck, Yellow, Mayday, all these were not. So I started working with the best bloodlines, the best stuff. But those bloodlines, having a Mayday dog didn't mean nothing, because I wanted the best. Just having a good Mayday dog didn't mean anything. So I did a lot of research, and I was connected to get the very best. And I was blessed to get the very best, absolute best of the Mayday dogs. And I was lucky because it became unique. This dog passed away in the hands of some idiots that let him, just die. And I had that bloodline in my hands. The name of the son of that dog was called Macho One-Time Winner. The name of that dog was Awesome Buck. Everything was lined up. Barracuda, Honcho, those dogs, I saw them. They were nothing compared to Macho One-Time Winner. But he was in the hands of some turkey, these guys, just garbage people, complete garbage. And they lost the dog, unfortunately. But to my luck, I have what I needed. And with that little seed, I created the most amazing bloodline in the world. What I needed at the time, when I was developing that, it was something that I didn't have. And then that'll take me to what I was really looking for. I was looking for number 3. So my story about when I was a kid and how I was always number 1, it was to develop and to paint the picture to you that the number 1 out of the 3 things, it was culture. People don't look for culture. People look for number 3, which is genetics. So number 1 is culture, number 2 is inner core, and number 3 is genetics. What people do is, I want to get the dog. They want to get the genetics. But they don't know that to get the genetics, you got to have the inner core. And behind the inner core, there's the man with the culture. That culture of the man is the most important part. And then the inner core of the man. So the culture told me, says, you're going to have to become the best dogman in the world. You're going to have to rewrite the books and create things that never been done. When these guys are afraid to cross the bridge, you're going to have to go around the world. You're going to have to be like a mad scientist and have a lab. I look and I surveyed and I said, these guys have these pedigrees where they have champions and grand champions, and the moment they see the champion, grand champion, automatically think that's a good thing. I find out that's a lie. I find out that many grand champions and champions are completely worthless, and many of them are just a big lie. So I discovered a lot of those legends. Many legends are a one-hit wonder, and many of them is just like the opinion of a whole bunch of guys. I don't have that opinion of a whole bunch of guys, because I never ride around with a whole bunch of guys. I didn't sell a whole bunch of dogs, so everybody, clapping for Chico. It was Chico by himself. And then I decided to create something special. So the first mission that this boy had was to create the inner core to hold this genetic composition. And I had something that had the same name of the little rover they sent to Mars. You know what a rover is? Is this like a off-road car or vehicle that they sent to Mars, right? To explore the new planet. They wanted to give it all kinds of names, but the name they ended up giving is called curiosity. I had that curiosity to discover how to create something that was better. On those times, you have a leader, and in that leader, you have maybe 1 or 2 dogs that were okay, maybe 1 good. But even the people that had it, they didn't have the capacity. They were miserable, crappy keeps, crappy conditioning, no balls, no nothing. They have opinions from everybody. I said, too much noise. I need to get rid of all these people. I went by myself and I started to make mistakes, and I learned and invest time in my priorities was to develop that man, Chico Lopez. I had the idea of a man that wasn't me at the time, but later on it became me. So number one, most important thing that I needed is culture. Today, I still need culture. I don't need somebody to have the inner core. I don't need somebody to create the genetics. They're already created by me. And the inner core is not necessary anymore, because today is highly legal. And with all the technology you have, it's only an idiot that will come and try to do dogs and stuff like that anywhere in the United States for example. You understand? Not to mention that the ecosystem is garbage, it's destroyed. You have nothing but goons, nothing but lowlifes and criminals and breeders and punks and bums, big dozers. You understand? So when it comes to this situation, number one is always going to be culture. Number one is going to be how I created my bloodline. It was culture. I already had it before I got into the dogs. I was blessed by the adversity of life, by having the culture to be the man, and I still have that culture. You better believe I still have it. Number two, the inner core. It was that man that I was creating in my life. Make the culture allow me to make those decisions or say, I don't want to be like that guy, I want to be like that guy. The guy is a punk, the guy is an idiot, the guy is an egomaniac, whatever the case might be, and I created that man. And that man that had the culture and had that inner core, that man created the genetics. Those were the three things I navigated for over 25 years. And automatically, without knowing, that created number four, which is legacy. I do have a legacy. And then after that I say, because I didn't sell dogs to people, but I needed to create number five, which is the reason I'm making this video. 281-226-0370. If you haven't write this number down, make sure you grab a piece of paper, write it down. 281-226-0370, ChicoLopez.com. Let me tell you something. Number five is called significance. There are a lot of uncommon qualities that are common on leaders like me. I am a lobbyist leader. I'm a lobbyist. One mission, greatest dogs on the planet. Greatest, one mission. I understood that the standard, by standard, you couldn't have 20, 30 men on a bloodline. Or bug dogs, or jeep dogs, or bolio dogs, or this dog, this garbage. Too many people involved in it. Too many different frequencies, too many different qualities. You understand? Oh, they're all good because they got the same pedigree and they have this percentage and whatever. And today, of course, the new dummies. And I have the DNA profile. Of course, my dog is coming from the garbage man, but he has DNA profile. So idiots. So many idiots. Anyhow, since I don't work with idiots, I'm not even going to worry about that. I make this video because there's going to be smart people watching this video. And those smart people, you are wanted by me. And you want what I have. I have the greatest dogs in the world. The greatest experience that I didn't have when I was 20 years old. I didn't walk. They didn't exist, Chico Lopez. I had to create Chico Lopez. I had to create the bloodlines. All these grand champions, all those champions. And I put them together myself like a matrix full of information. Boom, 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 boom. All in my head. Boom, 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 boom. All over the world. And I created something wonderful. Like magnificent. Something full of excellence and glory. And it's called the Golden Vein of Chico Lopez. And it's very unique, and it's only for a community of great people. It's not for the swamp. It's not for the thugs. It's not for the garbage people. It's only for those that deserve the best. And today, the people that come to my community are going to enjoy these dogs. With this, I send a message, shockwaves, to the scumbags. That's why Chico Lopez don't like us. Of course not. We are too good. I never belonged to any world of lowlifes. You never saw me hanging around with them. You always saw me by myself. That's why I left United States, so I could be alone. so I can have my head work by itself and not with the help of anybody else. And we created something beautiful, folks. And if you're a young kid, 15, 17 years old, 20 years old, you are lucky and you're watching this very early. Don't waste your time in forums. Don't listen to anybody stupid. You come to the channel, 123pitbulls.com, or you can come to chicolopez.com. Take a look at what we're doing. Take a look at the greatest dogs in the world. This is the dream that people before me, the Earth Tutors of the world, the Dale Brastroms of the world, the Ralph Greenwoods of the world, the Crenshaws of the world, the Maurice Carvers of the world, they never dreamed that there was such a man that will come from poverty and struggles and create something so beautiful. But I'm pretty sure there is a dogman heaven, there in heaven, smiling and saying, that man right there, if I ever comes here, I'll shake his hand. They'll be happy to meet me, and they'll be blessed to have one of my dogs. I tell you that with the most sincere and smile on my face. I am a very blessed man. And some people say that I am lucky. You can call lucky my 27 plus years of sacrifice. I am lucky. I live the life that I didn't dream. I always dream big. My life is bigger than my dreams, and that by definition makes me successful. Folks, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you come back to the channel. I hope you invite people and share with great people. And for you guys that belong to the swamp and you guys that are lost, I give you a reminder. I tell you, think about this. You've been in the dogs for 10, 20, 15 years. You go to the internet and talk BS. Maybe you hate on me, maybe you don't. Haters are good, by the way. They're blessings. You have no idea how many great sales and clients I have because they found me talking BS and they got curiosity. They Google me, Chico Lopez, they came to me, and now they say, yeah, now I know what you're talking about. No, please, 281-226-0370, we want a dog from you. So, of course, there are some old dogmen and some people that just love the dogs before. Maybe you're a person that you have a 12-year-old, 11-year-old dog that's about to die. Or maybe you make the mistake to fall for a bully or one of these giant garbage dogs that are not pit bulls, they call them giant pit bulls, or whatever the case might be. When you came to this channel, just like many say, I discovered the American Pitbull Terrier through Chico Lopez. I have mutts for 20 years. You understand? I have mutts for 20 years. They said that, all right? But let's suppose that you are 15 years old and you're watching this channel, you're learning tons of information. You are blessed. We are blessing you with this information. And if you are an older person, 40, 50 years old, 60 years old, and you used to have great dogs in the past, and you may have your past, we'll put you in the microscope. If you want to, you can come into my microscope. I'll put you, I'll check you, I'll Google you, I put the GPS and find out exactly who you are and everything. And if you want to get a dog, to go through that process. You better come with money, and we might bless you with the most beautiful puppy you never had. Just imagine 30, 40 years in dogs. Guys, those guys in America with those dogs in blue barrels, you know, racing dogs, going to the forums, talking BS, hating on 1,000 people, and having the unpleasant thing of feeding mutts and knowing you're not the best, you're lying to yourself. But then a lawyer, a doctor, an engineer can call 281-226-0370, talk to the great Chico Lopez, and get an amazing dog that is 20 times better than anything you ever had at your very best. That's a fact. That's a fact. My number again, 281-226-0370. Make sure you're ready to talk to a man. A lot of people call and they get scared. This is Chico Lopez. Who's this? Boom, they hang up. They're scared. Oh my God, a real man pick up the phone. I pick up my phone. That's right. So you go, oh my God, you know, it's a pleasure. And I'm talking to the women. Call me only for business because I don't have time to talk. And you know, my friend, this and that. Wrong guy. My time is money. You understand me? Folks, I love these dogs. And I'm happy for all my buyers. I'm happy for the community of these great dogs. I have more topics coming, just so you know. We have how the breed was destroyed by the famous breeders. I'm going to eat you up a little bit here, breeders, in a little bit, right?
Fast and Furious.
Okay, the Fast and the Furious, right? Those destroyers of the breed. And then, of course, we're going to talk about the basis of my life, Good is the enemy of great. Grab that book, guys. Do yourself a favor. Grab that book. It's going to be good for your life. It's written by a name called James Collins, and the book is called From Good to Great. All right? Don't think that I was born talking like this and with this. I had the spirit, the soul, right? But I shaped it, right? Educated myself a little bit, right? So we're going to talk about thoroughbred horses, right? And compare it to the Chico Lopez. Because we cannot compare thoroughbred horses to that breeder that you know, or you, Mr. Breeder. We can't compare thoroughbred horses with you, but yes, we can compare with Chico Lopez. That's correct. Side by side, Secretariat, that's correct. Now let me tell you something. We're going to talk about the standard. Okay? We're going to talk about the swamp. What's the swamp and why is the swamp? Who are the swampers? And why they're the poison of the breed, or the mutts, because they're actually not part of the breed. We're going to talk about preservation. We're going to talk about our community. We're going to talk about the great dogs in my life. Folks, I am very happy. I thank you very much again. Subscribe to the channel. Share with your best friends. Sharing is caring. Leave a great comment. Say, Chico, you know, this great video, you know, all this stuff. Hey, look. I'll take a deposit. If you're a great person, I'll take a deposit. Look, you want to make a payment plan? I help you with that. You understand? But if you're a swamper, and I detect that you're a thug, and you have a lot of money, keep the money. I have money. I don't need your money. Don't need your money, man. Don't call me. Tell you get money. I don't need it. You understand me? So, great people call me. Again, Chico Lopez, living a great life. Hey, if you want to go to the internet, just Google me, Chico Lopez. If not, just put ChicoLopez.com or therealpitbull.com. It's the same. Folks, you're having a great time. If you leave a bad comment down below, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to block your ass. And you'll never come back. If you're a great person, leave a great comment. Thank you very much. Bye-bye. God bless you. Always number one. Only the best. Chico Lopez.